Welcome to our membership and popcorn sale training. Go ahead and get signed in right over here. Make sure you grab one of our car magnet QR codes for the back of your car, and then head over this way so you can see everything else we have lined up.
Hi, welcome. Here's a folder for you to take full of really great information of stuff coming up this fall.
Hey, so here we have a look at all of the different resources that you have available for your recruitment. We have customizable flyers. We have all sorts of stuff that you can use to give away to prospective new members. We have yard signs that you can give to your current members so they can stick them out for visibility. And as you come down this way, you're going to see that we have directional signs that you can use at your church or school events. We have what an ideal application should look like with all the minimum requirements to have it filled out. Some quick link references. Down here, you're welcome to take a flyer that has some of our upcoming events, as well as contact information for our entire field staff. And then you can get a cool look at some of the Scouts' own products and at what the Spin to Win popcorn breakfast looks like later in the year.
Hey, I'm so glad you were here, and we're going to be talking about membership and popcorn, and I want you to take a moment and put what your unit thinks your popcorn sale is going to be. Think big, sky's the limit. So this is for your dollar amount for popcorn sales, and how many new families are going to be joining you this fall. So you have this, and remember, add them to your popcorn popping.
All right, so we wanted to share a little bit of what our introductions were for all of our in-person trainings. Wanted to make sure that you got to experience a little bit of what we've been doing. Let me just move on to do another screen share here. If I get the right one. There we go. All right, so my name is Michelle Callie, and I am the Unit Service Director for Lake Erie Council, and I am joined today by Tyler Matthews, who you'll get to see in a little bit, and Jim Vanderpool. Jim is going to be helping us with the chat. Any questions that you have, please just throw them in the chat so we can make sure that we can get the training moving smoothly, and Jim will make sure to relay the questions to us so we can answer the questions. And let me see, so just for a few housekeeping things, I think with us being on Zoom, that would be the main thing that we have for tonight. Just remember the questions go on the chat. Even though we're not in person, all the resources that you saw on the video, you can have access to them. At the end, we're going to send an email with the slides that we're using for this training, and we're going to also just give you some more information on how to get access to the things that we shared for our in-person trainings. Everything that was available at those trainings is still available to you. We'll let you know how to request those resources. So just to start with a little bit of a brag, last year, Lake Erie Council achieved growth in both membership and product sales. And this is an accomplishment that we have not had for over 5 years. So that's something to be proud of. In 2023, as a council, we ended the year with over 6,500 kids in our Cub Scout packs, our Scouts BSA troops, our venturing crews, and other units just like yours. When we're talking about popcorn and syrup, by the end of our product sale period, we sold over 950,000 in popcorn and syrup. And I just realized that my screen is showing nothing to you. So let's stay there. But yeah, so we're already building success for, we're building on that success that we had in 2003. And so far, at least as of June 30th, and even in July, we have experienced growth every month. So that's 7 months of straight membership growth in Lake Erie Council, which only tells us that Scouting is alive and the work that you're all doing, it's bearing fruit. So yeah, we're happy that you're all here. I believe that we had a lot of people registered. It's about over 40 people, so I'm sure people will start will continue joining, but a good friend Jim is here making sure that everybody gets into the room. So let's start with what is new. National BSA fees. And I will ask you again, remember all questions go in the chat. We're going to keep going and we'll address those questions. By now, you might all be familiar that there was a national BSA fee increase, and it started 8 days ago on August 1st. And each group, as you can see on the slides, is laid out here. So for youth membership, there was an increase of $5 for the year. So it went from 75 to 80. Adult fees increased by $15. They were from 45 to $60. There was no change in insurance. And the other big change is that merit badge counselors now have a fee of $25. It is very important to note that if you are both a merit badge counselor and a volunteer with a specific unit, you only pay the fee for your unit. You do not have to pay an extra $25 for being a merit badge counselor. This $25 fee is for those people who are only merit badge counselors and not affiliated with any units. And that's it when it comes to the increase. So we still have the $25 fee for new members, for new scouts. Remember that this is for scouts that have never been in the program. If you have a scout that was in the program 5 years ago, this fee does not apply to the scout. Units will still pay an annual recharger fee of $100, and the Scout magazine, the Scout Life magazine, remains an optional $15 a year. I know there are a lot of questions, but we're going to keep going into more detailed parts of the training, what we can do to offset these fees as well. So one of the other big changes is that there are no prorated fees anymore. All new youth and adults that joined scouting as of 8 days ago are now being enrolled in a yearly membership cycle. It's 12 months. And there's no opting out of that option. We will not do, or BSA is not doing prorated fees anymore. What happens with ReCharter? ReCharter this year, 2023, will look the same as it has the years before. For the majority of your members, everybody who was a member up until July 31st. Any members that were added, both youth and scouts that were added starting August 1st, will show on your ReCharter as prepaid members, as a zero fee member. So you don't have to worry about that. We had something similar last year. This year is going to look the same. For 2024, then what your unit will have to focus on specifically is going to be the charter fee and making sure that the rosters are accurate. All of your other members will be renewing on a yearly cycle on the month that would be their anniversary, which would be whenever they joined scouting. So we have 3 facts that may help put some of your minds at ease when it comes to ReCharter. Units will be able to control how renewal and payments occur. So units will have the option to deactivate parent payments. So this means that you can select to pay for your leaders fees or for your scouts if that is something that your unit does and wants to keep doing. As we get closer to ReCharter earlier next year, we'll go into, or after ReCharter, I'm sorry, earlier next year, we're going to get into more details and walk you through how to do this. Auto payment will be an available option for both families, parents, and units. And this is just depending on what the preference is of the parents and how the renewal of the unit is managed. Communication will come from both the council staff, Lake Erie Council, and from the national office, at least 60 days prior to expiration of the membership, and it will continue until a member is either renewed or dropped. So it's kind of going to work like YBT. So from the national office, the members will start getting notifications 60 days out before their expiration date. And our staff at the Lake Erie Council, we will also make contact not only with the families, but also with the unit. And the reminders from the national office are going to the family and the key three of each unit. So somebody will know that a member is about to expire. But again, more info. We're saving more of the information for spring 2022. Right now, it's really not necessarily impacting you and how we're renewing our members, and we still need to get more information on our end as well. So another change, BSA barriers to abuse. Just a reminder that effective September 1st, there are going to be more stricter guidelines that relate to adult registration and who can provide leadership and overnight outings. The rule is not really that hard. It's very simple. If you're staying overnight with a troop, other kids, with a troop, crew, or ship, every single adult must be registered. When it comes to Cub Scouts, every adult must be registered except for the parents or legal guardians of the scout. I'm going to repeat that. In Cub Scouts, if you are a parent or a guardian, you don't have to be registered. Everybody else has to be registered. An aunt, grandparent, uncle, cousin. Everybody else must be a registered leader. And yep, I forgot to change the slide. But anyway, this is the update of the order of use. If you scan the code, or when we send you the slides, if you click on the link, you're going to get a little bit more information and frequently asked questions that pertain to this update. Now, we're going to move on to some good news. The state of Ohio has what it's called an ACE education saving program. ACE stands for After School Child Enrichment. And this is a program that the state of Ohio, I believe, started last year, and it has been approved for the 2023-2024 school year. This program, let me remind you, it's an Ohio state program, not BSA or Lake Erie Council, but this program allows for certain families that qualify to get access to $1,000 reimbursement per child for out-of-school educational programs. And scouting is one of them. We have worked with the state to make sure that that Lake Erie Council qualifies as a qualified service provider. So there's money available to families based on meeting one of the following criteria, which is what do we have on the slides. So families that make less than 400% the federal poverty line. And we'll look at what it looks like in a little bit. Families that participate in government programs already automatically qualify for ACE. And families that live within a certain school district also qualify for ACE immediately. And I'll show you those districts in a little bit. The reason for these school districts, every family that lives in these school districts that are listed on the slides here, they qualify automatically for ACE. They have to still apply, but they're going to be approved automatically. And the reason for this, it's because of the absenteeism rate in these school districts. You do not need to be attending a school in the district or even attending a public school. You just have to live in the boundaries of these school districts and you automatically qualify. The QR code showed on the screen right now takes you to the eligibility requirements. But we have many families that will automatically qualify based on geography alone. Do remember, if you do not live in these school districts, you can still qualify, your families can still qualify for ACE if they meet any of the other criteria. One of them being income being within 400% of the poverty line or being enrolled in a government program. So how do we do this? How do we figure this out? You don't have to ask families if they qualify. We can just share the information with them. This program is not only for scouting, dance classes, any other after school programs are ACE eligible for a refund. Our advice, and this is the advice that we have gotten from ACE as well, is to apply. Everyone in the state should apply, even if they don't think they qualify. You'd be surprised. At the end of the day, they are the ones making the decision. So Just apply. It really doesn't take too long to apply. There could be a 2-week processing period for applications. So as you start talking to families, I would say give them the information and have them apply soon. Now, do remember that ACE is it's a reimbursing program. So families will have to pay up front and then submit a receipt to ACE to make sure that they can get their money back. Receipts for qualifying expenses can absolutely predate your application. So let's say I joined scouting last week and I'm enrolling for ACE tomorrow and I get approved. I can use that receipt. It still qualifies to be reimbursable because this is a program that the kid is going to benefit from in the school year 2023-2024. Like I said, you're going to get these slides at the end of the training. All these links take you to the ACE website from the state to get more information. So what scouting expenses are eligible? Annual BSA membership fees for the youth. Youth registration of $80 is eligible for reimbursement. Insurance is not eligible for reimbursement. Only the $80, and as of now, unit fees or dues are not eligible at this time. The national member fee of $25, if it's something that has to be applied to the scout, is reimbursable as well. And then day activities such as merit badge universities or council weekend events, where an overnight stay is not required. So listen to this one very carefully. Only day activities are eligible according to the state legislation. The costs associated with overnight campouts are not eligible. But Lake Erie Council is now going to host weekend events, and all our events will be offered as ACE eligible activities. So that means that the fees paid cover the program on Saturday only, and then tent and troop lodge camping will then be offered either as free or as an additional non-reimbursable charge. So trying to split the program to allocate when fees are charged, a certain portion pertains to delivering the program and a certain portion pertains to the overnight part. Overnight part is not reimbursable according to ACE. So what scouting expenses are not eligible? So council-sponsored events that require an overnight stay are not eligible. So summer camp, handbooks or merit badge pamphlets, adult leader registration fees, I mentioned insurance, uniforms, camping equipment, or travel expenses, and everything else you can see on the screen right now. So equipment, uniforms, and overnight outings are specifically named in the Ohio legislation as not eligible for ACE reimbursement. So what does this mean? It means that scouting registration can be essentially free for over 2/3 of the families that you will talk to this fall. Between $200 and $300 in annual events and activities will also be free for families to access. Yes, they have to front the money, but as long as you have your families have the receipts, it is guaranteed that they're going to receive a refund for the items and the activities that qualify according to ACE. So definitely encourage all your families to apply. Now, we're gonna start moving on to like the next portion of the training. But before we do that, the next portion of our training pertains to recruitment and welcoming new families into the program. And before I ask the question that I want to ask all of you, Jim has a question.
We have a couple questions.
Yep.
First, will this training recording be sent to the participants?
Yes, it will be made available to everybody.
I believe it's going to be on the website, I do believe, eventually.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. As the national registration fee gets transferred to the anniversary date, who is collecting the fee?
So when a family, let's say I joined today, if I joined online, I'm paying for the fee, and I'm using me as a new family, as a parent, as a mother. So I sign up my kid, and I'm paying for the fees for the full year. Next year, in the month of August, I have to renew. I have to renew my kid in the program. In the spring of 2024, the unit will be able to decide if the unit wants to pay for renewals and have the families pay the unit, or if the unit wants to just let parents handle it. So the answer could be both. The parent could be the person responsible for the renewal, or the unit. But that is just up to the unit leaders.
And our final question is, what is the reason for the adult fee increase? And I can answer that real quick. There's an enhanced
Sure.
background check. National went to an enhanced background check to keep everybody safer. So that's the main reason for the fee increase. The background check costs money. It's the same thing with the merit badge counselor. Why are we charging merit badge counselors $25? Because they're volunteering their time, it's because they're paying for the background check. It's all about safety. That's all.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
All right. So as we start thinking about how we welcome families into our program and new families, I want you all to just look at this question, and if you can, please share 2 to 3 sentences in the chat. Why are you involved in scouting? And most of us, or most of you actually, would say because of your kids. But I'll tell you what keeps me in scouting, and that is just seeing the passion that I see in all of you when delivering the program. When seeing how you're doing that, seeing the kids being happy. When I go to a meeting, when I need a little lift me up, I go to a meeting because I want to see the scouts having fun. I want to see the scouts just learning without knowing they're learning. And that's what keeps me motivated and keeps me in scouting. And this is something I share with families when they ask me about the program, when they ask me, why should I do scouting? And you can have simple answers that can be just, I'm here to support my child, or it's our family tradition. But for other people, it can also be far more complicated than that. So I'm going to ask you, think about it. Please share your thoughts in the chat. Give us 2 to 3 sentences, and we'll dig deeper into that in a little bit.